So let's get into it.
I've made every single one of my clients cry.
Telecoms, sales.
HR is about creating environments where people feel safe.
Are you asking me why social media just moves so quickly?
What the hell's going on with the bank?
Can we move on?
It's not something that I want to put out there.
I would put it out there. Welcome back to the CEO's Perspective, and this is Project Berlin. We are at PAX 8 Beyond Berlin, and we're joined by Jack from PAX 8. He is our account manager, and he's going to chat to us about things in tech and in business. Jack.
Thank you for having me, Daniel.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
you for coming and chatting with us. I suppose the first thing to start off with is give me some of the challenges that you see as an account manager for SMBs in the world that we live in.
Sure. I think the big one is it's overcoming all of the new developments and the requirements in the industry. If your primary business focus isn't IT, then getting your head around all these new developments and requirements I can imagine people are putting their hair out, to be honest with you. It's not easy.
It's even tough for an IT brain.
Right? There's a lot of noise. So I think that's a big issue. And I think if you find an IT provider that gives you that reassurance, gives you that you can trust them to carve out the noise and make it nice and simple, put it into layman terms for you, and essentially standard English, make it nice and simple, and ultimately take you on a bit of a journey, things to look out for, but ultimately give you a solution, as opposed to having them hunt through loads of updates and having to come up with a solution themselves and maybe not taking other considerations into effect. And as an IT provider yourself, you kind of, going out, socializing, speaking to other MSPs in the market, you hear about things coming up 12, 18 months in advance. They're not going to be privy to that kind of information communication.
It helps with priding ourselves on being solution providers and finding the solution that fits the client rather than going, we're going to squeeze you, Mr. Client, into this box because you need to fit in this box because you're 10 to 20 users, 30 to 40 users or whatever. And it's like, you've got to fit in this box. Whereas we pride ourselves on being solution providers. And a lot of MSPs that I talk to pride themselves on being solution providers so that they go, okay, let's understand the client. Let's understand what they do, how they do it. Because I've got multiple real estate agent clients. None of them work in the same way. They might sell the same product, but none of them actually work in the same way. And if I try and fit them into the same box, it isn't going to work, and they get frustrated. It's the same in a lot of different industries we work in. And that's why we go with, let's find a solution that fits the client. But first of all, let's understand the client. Let's understand everything you do and how you do it. The amount of clients I've sat with and gone, okay, how do you work through how does your accounts department work? And they're like, you're IT. Why do you want to know that? And it's like, so we want an understanding of how everybody works, not just the tools they're using, but all the little quirky stuff that they do.
Processes.
And the processes and that actually, we found this way to do this and this way to do that. And it's like, because then when we've got a complete view, we can look at you and go, okay, you need one of these products that's going to help you here, here, and here. And actually we can bolt this on that does this. And do you know what I mean? It's that helping them to actually be more efficient as a company rather than just go, we do your IT, we do your support, we protect your antivirus, and when things break, we fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's recognizing that each and every customer is unique. They all have their own unique issues and problems.
Some more than others.
But at the end of the day, as you quite said, it's about harnessing the way they do things and improving it for them. And in order to do that, you really, as you say, you need to understand how they work, how they think, what works best for them.
What's their motivations?
Exactly. And not try and, put a square peg in a round hole, so to speak. And, you may have a good offering, but it needs to be tailored to the end customer to ensure that they get the best service, right, and outcome ultimately.
Yeah, 100%. It's like cloud technology. So how have you seen over the last 4 or 5 years the the adoption of cloud technology, especially in the SMB market?
Yeah.
How have you seen that grow, and what have you seen?
Well, I'm privy to the UK market.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's fair to say that we are leading the charge alongside our partners on the other side of the pond in the US, so to speak. I actually looked at some facts earlier today. 46% of the UK population use cloud storage.
Wow.
Almost
Okay.
half, right?
Yep.
And as time goes on, and the young ones become older and you have new people born, cloud adoption is only going to rise.
Oh, it's going to be I think I'll probably see it in my lifetime, because I'm older than you. I'm as per the grey hair, I'm quite old. I think I'll see in my lifetime a stage where absolutely everything is cloud.
Yeah.
And there is no more, I've got a server in the corner of my office, or I've got anything local at all.
I completely agree.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, as we grow. But have you seen, so with the cloud adoption, we noticed that our clients that were real sticklers for wanting to keep data in-house because they like to walk over and stroke their server.
Yeah, they like to know it's there.
When the pandemic happened, they all went, oh crap, we've got it in-house. What do? We need to move to. So the ones that have been sitting on the fence, that have been going, no, this cloud's a little bit
unsure.
I don't trust this cloud.
Yeah.
I've kind of jumped the fence now.
They've had to, right?
Okay, well, they had to. Yeah, there was no other way. How are we going to function when we're not allowed in the office? Well, we have to move you to the cloud.
Interestingly, the cloud market was one of the only markets that grew during COVID. People needed
Teams and Teams, Zoom, cloud,
they
storage.
needed to promote in, they needed to communicate.
Interesting.
They had to be locked in a room, confined, couldn't be in a big open room with lots of people. I think it's pivotal. It's quite crazy how quickly it's moving, and I think the adoption is only getting faster. Those that move to the cloud, you very rarely hear them move back.
I have no clients that move back.
The benefits are crazy. And I think we live in a ever more connected world where and it's all about getting the right data and information in front of you. And if you've got lots of different things on lots of different systems that aren't interconnected and aren't speaking to each other, you're not able to have the right data in front of you to make informed decisions anymore.
100%.
With the cloud, you can bring everything together and you can pull all that data, make informed decisions for your business. And I think, once you've had that and you've seen it and you've felt that,
you don't want to go back.
You can't go back. No. There's no way you can go back.
No, but one of the things that we found, I suppose, speaking with clients every day, is the objective or the objection, to cloud is, if they've got in-house servers, VMs, moving them to Azure, compared to having them in-house, and you then look at, it's a monthly cost, whereas I've paid for my server, it's in the corner, and I've got my data on it, and I don't have to pay for it for like 3 years, even if they change hardware every 3 years, which most SMBs do not change their hardware every 3 years. They will turn around and go, we want to push it 4 years because we get more bang for our buck, right? But I think the biggest objection that we've had is they've gone, we'd love to be in Azure. We'd love to move our virtuals to Azure. But when we calculate it on what an Azure cost is going to cost us every single month to what having a piece of hardware in the corner is, the balance isn't right.
And also the uncertainty, right? Like there are so many more variables that affect your cost with a usage-based solution, now linked to the US dollar, for instance. It's that reassurance, as you say. And look, one of the top initiatives that we've come across for business owners is getting their cloud spend under control and optimizing it, and being able to set out on a 12-month period, what is it going to cost us over the next 12 months as we grow by, 5% a year. That is still a big problem in the industry. I think we could all address that as an issue. But we are now starting to see some new solutions that are coming out. And we've spoken about one recently called Calibrate, which doesn't just cost optimize, but it also performance optimizes your Azure environment. Being able to give your reassurance to your customers to say, it's going to be within this margin. and it's going to be 50% of what it would be without cost optimization tools in place, is I think the bridge to bridging that gap and helping customers make that transition.
I think also helps is what we found is that being able to talk to people at PAX 8 who have a bit more knowledge on the entire back end of Microsoft's ecosystem. So not on the repairing of, that's our job, and the supporting of, but the Microsoft ecosystem is so bloody massive.
It's huge.
Right?
Yeah.
Just look at Dynamics, it's massive. Azure, it's just, and actually knowing what's in there that can benefit your clients. So I know all of my clients like the back of my hand, right? I built their systems. They've been with me for years. We go in, when we get a new client, we go in depth on everything that they've got so that we understand them on a granular level. But then knowing what other bits there is that we don't know of Azure or we don't know of Dynamics. I was in the Dynamics class just before lunch, and it's like Dynamics for Business, and it's like, actually I can already spot 2 or 3 clients that would work really, really well for, but it's not having the ability to talk to somebody to go, I've got all of this, I know my client, I can explain my client in detail of what they use, but I just don't know
what you don't know.
I don't know what I don't know as an
Exactly.
MSP. It's like, it's so vast. What tools can I use to put together to actually give them something that will make them more efficient? Because if I can grow them and make them have some cost savings and they can save some money, it's a win for me, because that means they become sticky. They stay with us, and they look at us as their trusted partner, which is kind of,
I completely agree.
be.
And it's not only that, is it? Because the best solution today may not be the best solution tomorrow. Everything's changing.
Oh, in IT, yeah, exactly.
Exactly that. So I guess, that's one of the areas that we try and support, assist, help our partners, is to get you in front of the people that this is their primary expertise. This is their specialization. This is what they get up in the morning and they look into and they love researching, right? And they know each day how the market changes, what's available, what you need to be thinking about. And it's enablement, I guess, at the end of the day. It's putting the right people in front of you so that you have that information to hand.
Yeah. I mean, with PAX 8, just an example on that, I won't mention names, but our SOCO at PAX 8 is absolutely freaking amazing.
They are fantastic.
And I can just have an email conversation. You've seen my emails. They're like, yeah, but which one would you use?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know I'm getting an honest opinion. It's not oh, well, I have to say this because this is the product that we're pushing this month.
Yep.
It's
genuine.
Honest, even if it's not on the PAX 8 line card, we will still get the honest opinion of, well, actually, this is a really good tool because of X, Y, and Z. That for us as an MSP is like,
it's invaluable.
It's invaluable. Yeah. It helps us to feel secure in the stuff that we're pushing.
And people have your best intentions at heart.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just, we want to sell you a product. We want to sell, because we don't work that way. We don't work with our clients of, we want to sell you a product. We'll put, these are the products. You're going to have every product that we sell. No. And the people that are backing us are of the same mind, and especially our SOCO, yourself and the SOCO, but just to go turn around and go, this is what you should be using for X, Y, and Z, not because I want to sell you a product,
but because it solves this, and
because
this.
It solves problems, and we're all about solving pain points. That's kind of what we're about. Where have you seen AI? So AI.
Yeah, right? It's hard not to see AI these days, isn't it?
Every single podcast, every single conversation that I have had for the last 2 years always has AI. We do a coffee tech chat. Me and Chip do a coffee tech chat every week where we talk about what's going on in tech.
Yeah.
And Chris over there gets very, very annoyed because the majority of the time we end up talking about AI in some way, shape or form. So it's like we're doing an AI podcast usually. But where have you seen, so AI is massive. Where have you seen it?
Well, I think first off, ChatGPT. You look at the adoption figures on like how many users signed up to Instagram when it first launched, right? And I think that may have been the record. It got blasted out of the water by ChatGPT.
Yep.
The uptake has been unprecedented. However, that being said, I think there is a lot of unawareness when it comes to utilizing things like ChatGPT. Obviously, Microsoft have
Yep,
Copilot for M365.
they do.
Anything that you plug into that is within your tenant. All your data, all your queries are housed within that tenant.
Yep. It's become really apparent that in the world that we're all living in at the moment, all small businesses like my own get constricted by the price increases that we've got across utilities, across rent, across a manner of things. What we're aiming to do on the CEO's perspective is to bring in professionals from all walks of life that have got years of experience in their field so that we can give out some information freely to other small business owners that might be able to assist them in the littlest things inside their business, or maybe the biggest things inside their business, but by giving away that advice freely. It's our way of giving back to the small business community. We hope that you're going to enjoy our series of podcasts. If you would like to get involved, if you'd like to come and be a guest on our podcast, please reach out, email us in the description. We invite you to subscribe to our channel so that you can see more of these podcasts. And we invite you to subscribe to our tech newsletter so that you can hear about the new things that are happening, not only in tech, but in small business. We hope you're going to enjoy the rest of this podcast.
There have been some pretty big, scary stories about some pretty big enterprise businesses asking ChatGPT queries, questions, maybe even inputting their code into ChatGPT. And it's public, right?
Even though they say they're not training their LLM, they're training their LLM.
And I think, I would say more than half of people are now, if they've got an issue or a query at work, instead of going and asking a friend, they'll probably chuck that into ChatGPT first to see if they can get an answer. Without a doubt, it's being used more and more. The presentation that we had earlier this morning was quite staggering around the timelines for artificial general intelligence.
I can't wait to have a robot.
2027.
I want a robot.
You're going to have your house, your car, and your robot.
Yep.
But one that I haven't come across is artificial superintelligence, where AI becomes cleverer than the human.
Skynet.
Which is a bit worrying, right? And they talk about this red pill, blue pill, doom and gloom, and endless prosperity. And which pill would you swallow? And the reality is we have now swallowed both. It is coming. It's going to happen. You have to accept it.
Yep.
I know that a lot of people, I might speak to parents or friends of parents and a slightly older generation, and they're a bit more reserved. And maybe, they might be coming up to retirement in the next 5 years, so it's not such a big deal for them. But I think anyone younger than that seriously needs to understand how to best leverage and utilize AI. I remember at school, looking back now, you cram a lot of information into your mind before you go and do a test. And that's great. And that is one way to learn. But day by day, I think it becomes more important to utilize the tools that you have available.
And it is a tool.
And I think it is probably the most powerful tool that we have available to us these days. Gone are the days where you need to cram everything into your head, because that library of data is there on the internet.
Oh, yeah. I because of my age, I'm of the age when I was at school, my maths teacher would say to us, when we'd want to use a calculator in school, they'd like, you can't use a calculator. You are not going to walk around for the rest of your life with a calculator in your pocket. So therefore you need to learn to do this in your head. I have a calculator on my watch. I have a calculator on my phone. I have a calculator on my laptop.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's kind of going the same way of the amount of information. It's all there yesterday, right? So while we're here in Berlin, I use ChatGPT. I don't speak any German at all. I had a problem in my hotel room where my TV kept rebooting itself, right? I'd be watching something, 5 minutes, it'd reboot. Spoke to reception. Reception said, we'll send a technician. They sent up a technician. Technician came up, only spoke German, does not speak English whatsoever.
Yeah.
Pulled out ChatGPT with advanced voice on my phone, told it that I wanted to do translation. I spoke in English. It spat it out in German. The guy understood it, absolutely smiled, translated it. He spoke in German to ChatGPT. It spoke back to me in English. Problem was solved in 2 minutes flat.
Yeah, it's crazy how it can be utilized now ultimately to fix issues that were never really resolvable. I mean, you think back to how you would go about and solve that a few years ago. You'd have to go find someone who can translate or you try to do it yourself and it takes a couple hours.
Yep.
It's certainly helping people solve problems faster.
Yep. So we did we had a whole series where we spoke to ChatGPT about different things. This is before they brought out the new OI or O1 version. And it's actually really shocking the amount, just back then, that's a year ago, the amount of industries that AI is already embedded with without even within the first year.
Yeah.
Medical, finance, just you name an industry, AI is already
they're getting ready,
fully embedded into it. Have you seen a lot of your partners and their clients really push into AI, or are they still a little bit?
I'd say the majority are the latter.
Okay.
Some partners have really pioneered it. They've been very open. They've, drived marketing. It's difficult, I guess, because a lot of people are using ChatGPT, so they may not see, when they do a kind of opportunity cost assessment. A lot of people will look at the likes of M365 for Copilot and be like, well, why should I pay for something like that when I can just ask ChatGPT? And to a degree, that's fine. But when you're talking about business problems and you're using people's data is increasingly becoming, I think, the most important thing to people.
100%.
And if you can't protect your customers' data, and you lose that data or someone gets hold of it, the likelihood is you will lose the trust of that customer and their business with it. So I think you need to start taking it seriously. You need to start thinking about data security and posture.
Yep.
And know that, if you wouldn't release your diary onto the internet, right?
No.
For everyone to read.
But everybody just throws everything into ChatGPT.
But everyone, exactly. And I think there needs to be an education.
Yep.
And some of the most successful rollouts of Copilot that we've seen for M365, it's all started with initial data assessments. Like, where are you housing your data? Is it in the right place? Are you using the right sensitivity labels? Are you hiding things away in folders that Copilot could go and find, right? Like payroll information. New starter comes in, joins, asks Copilot, how much is everyone getting paid? We've heard stories like that.
Wow.
So I think, getting an understanding of how it all works from a data perspective and how, they say data is the new gold.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I'm inclined to agree.
Commodity.
You need to protect it. And it's not just your data. You need to be concerned with the data of your customers. And therefore, you need to take security even more seriously than you did yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So I did Friday before flying out. I delivered some cybersecurity training to a client of ours, to their upper management, because we're trying to get their end users to take it seriously. So it's like, let's deliver it to upper management. Let's get them on board. Once they're on board, it'll filter down with some policies on top, and it should filter down, and we should be on a more even keel. And I was trying to explain to them, and we always use the old analogy from cybersecurity is that it's an onion. And at the core of the onion is your data, and that is valuable. And then everything else, we stack on layers and layers and layers of this onion, digital layers. But the outside layer is the human layer, which is the weakest link in cybersecurity.
Well, they say 9 out of 10 attacks these days are through phishing attacks.
93% of all breaches in the last 12 months have been caused by human error. Be that clicking on a phishing email, be that maliciously, whatever.
Yeah.
But by a human. So we always preach, train your staff, train your staff, train your staff, train your staff. But it's the thing of the staff understanding that data, that is what pays the bills. That's bit
what they're after.
That's the bit that's valuable.
Yeah.
Right? As we've seen in all the latest breaches that have happened for the last 24 months, what are they after? The data. Why? Because then they can use that data to go make more money.
Exactly.
Or sell it to somebody or whatever.
Over and over and over again.
And over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Or they get into your system and they use zombie phishing. Yeah. You heard zombie phishing?
I haven't actually heard that term.
Okay,
no.
Zombie phishing is where they take over your account and they sit there and they watch it for a while. So they've actually got into your 365 account.
Start understanding your behaviors.
They understand your behaviors and they find an old thread that you've not been on for a while, and they use that to phish somebody else, not only to get money, so it could be an accounts one with an invoice on it and they change the details, but that gets them into, because they've brought back to life a dead email thread to get them into the next company.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
Really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like really dangerous.
And I think, like, you know, everyone hears about phishing attacks.
Yep.
But one thing that we've seen increasingly is spear phishing attacks, right? So back in the day, it was quite difficult if you didn't work at a business to understand who does what, who's linked to who. Nowadays,
go on LinkedIn and you'll find out.
Everyone puts everything online, social media, LinkedIn, you name it. Everything is out there.
Yep.
All that it takes is a black hat with a little bit of knowledge on how to scrape that data off the web, build a bit of a profile of you, which is what a lot of businesses do.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that is the world that we live in now.
Yep.
If they can access that and they can impersonate you or impersonate someone that you know or someone that you're familiar with, all of a sudden your gates, your security, your protocols that you abide by completely drop.
Yep.
You feel like, you know, you're in the you're speaking to someone that you speak to on a regular basis.
Yep.
And that has become a lot more. Well, it's just been increasing significantly over the last few years as people are able to utilize AI to do that.
Yeah, you give me the analogy. I think the last time when we were down at PAX 8 offices, you give me the case study of the PA.
Yeah.
Was it with the PA that was it you that gave it to me? The PA that the
I think that might have been Alex Cottrell, but I've heard that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So he gave me that. I used that in my training on Friday as a example.
Yeah.
And they all just looked at me and went, I bet that drive home was not very nice, because the PA was the wife of the director. And they were like, whoa, that, and it gave that shock of, oh, even somebody that close to somebody
and I think that's
can
the
get
hard
fooled.
That's the real, yeah.
And that's the thing, is that everybody says, when we talk to small businesses so much, they say, oh, but we're too small. Our data is not important. They don't want our data. We're really small. It's like, but they do, because
it's not just your data, though, right?
Yours.
It's like it's who you work with.
Yeah.
Your suppliers.
What's your supply chain? Who do you work with?
Exactly.
Do you work with big boys? And do you have constant conversations with big boys? Because then they can get into you. I read Cybersecurity News yesterday on their LinkedIn posted that OpenAI have just released their report. They investigated in the last 12 months, over 20 malicious actors, state actors, have started to use ChatGPT to try and make their malicious software or their malicious emails better. To the point that they even tried spear phishing OpenAI by using ChatGPT to spear phish OpenAI. Now, at the end of their report, which was kind of key, was that none of them have actually successfully used it to improve their malicious attacks. Because they just haven't done it in that way. But it's nice that they've actually investigated it and gone, actually, yeah, people are using it for bad stuff as well as good stuff, which we knew was going to happen, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
If we can use the tool, everybody else out there can use the tool as well, right? But it was just good to look at and for them to go, well, actually, we've made a report on it. And this is what's happened in the last 12 months. And actually, they even tried to attack us.
You need to be aware.
You need to be aware.
Yeah.
You need to be on. I mean, if you've ever watched anything that Sam Altman says about it, he is, if you read between the lines, he's quite doom and gloom about AI, even though he's the one building it.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's building it, isn't he? Because he wants to build it in such a way that it's used for good.
Yes.
But then he's very conscious.
That's why the atomic bomb was the mathematics for the atomic bomb was built was for something for good, for power, to use, and then it got turned into a bomb.
Yeah, which is funny how humanity tends to do things like that.
Yeah, we are the only species in the world that creates things to kill ourselves. We are the only species.
Pretty shocking.
Yeah, animals, no, there's not an animal on, no, not a single animal does anything inside that would like endanger their own species. Humans, yeah, no problem.
Well, this is it. Like you mentioned the atomic bomb and the race to get nukes. Some people think now that there's a race to get to AGI. Artificial superintelligence, right? And if first mover advantage is going to be big.
Massive.
So
Oh,
yeah,
we've seen that with OpenAI. They were the first ones to make the move, and they did it really smartly in the fact of, how do I train my model and get it all the information it can? Oh, I'll give it free to the world so they can ask all the stupid questions, all the intelligent questions, all these, and my model will train and become better. Really, really intelligent business model. It was really clever. Give it away free. You'll train it for us. We'll then make money out of it. But it is that first move. That's why Microsoft went to them and did a partnership with them. That's why Apple has gone to them and done a partnership with them. Although it's called Apple Intelligence, which that's a whole different conversation. Because they were the forefront. They got there first. It's like getting to the moon or getting to Mars and staking your flag.
And now everyone's rushing.
And now everyone's on the back foot. Google's on the back foot. Everybody's on the back foot to try and catch up with them. And AGI is going to be all super intelligence. It's going to be the exact same thing. Well, super intelligence, not so much. Because in my technical brain is, if we get to when we get to super intelligence, nobody's going to control it. It doesn't matter who created it. It's super intelligent. It is not going to be controlled.
It's going to be autonomous.
It's going to be autonomous. It is going to be sentient. So if it's sentient, it doesn't matter who got there first, because it will then pick who it wants to work with, or whether it wants to work with humans or not. It is there. It is. So AGI, I think, yes, whoever gets to AGI first, whichever country, because basically it's split down into kind of countries now. Who's getting there
US,
first?
China, Russia.
Yep. England, we just tag on to the US, so the West. But I think it's whoever gets there first is probably going to be the one that...
Well, as you say, will it matter?
Well, AGI, yes, I think it will.
Yeah, but for
super intelligence, I don't think it'll matter at all, really. I think once it's at super intelligence, it is its own being.
Yeah.
And then from there...
Let's just hope that it sees us as a good thing for the planet.
Yeah, there's lots of deep that's a conversation for a glass of whiskey, I think, is what that one is.
Right.
The importance for obviously Pax8 works with partners.
Yeah.
What do you rate on the importance of partnerships, not only with just vendors, but with your partners, with the vendors, that whole synergy, that whole blend?
Sure.
Because I know from talking to MSPs that there are a group of MSPs that don't really care about that synergy out there. It's not.
Yeah.
For us, it matters. We like to have that synergy. We like to have that blend of connection, and I believe very much in partnerships.
Sure. Well, I think Pax8 consider ourselves a marketplace, and we're ever changing with our service offering. But if you look back to the hardware providers, distributors that then started dipping their toe in the water of cloud licensing, ultimately it was a platform, a portal where you could go and buy, manage licenses for your customers.
Yep.
And that's all it really was. And I think Pax8 and others have started to change and develop what it means to be an IT provider, not only leveraging our global workforce and the skills that we have available that we can make available to our partners, but as you said, it really comes down to the ecosystem that is being built. The net goal is to give the end customer the best experience. Give them time back, make it easy, take the stress out, give them reassurance, let them get on with what they do best, running their business. It's been very interesting speaking with you in particular the last couple of days around the benefits that you've seen working with Pax8, that we've got a pretty slick marketplace.
Yep.
I am a salesman. I do honestly believe we've got the best marketplace in the world for our niche.
I've seen a lot of the other marketplaces. I can near enough guarantee that is true because I've worked with some of the other ones. And
it's a slick, intuitive platform.
Yep.
And it does a very, very good job of not only helping you purchase those licenses, integrate it into your internal systems, but the other side of the coin here is the ecosystem. It's the partner-to-partner plays. it's you being able to reach out to me and ask if anyone works in a particular area or has any resources, and I'm able to potentially give you a contact.
Yep. Which you've done recently, actually.
Which
and
I've done recently, right? It's all the added benefits.
It's working out quite well. Yeah.
So that's a really big thing, and it's something that I've been exposed to over the last couple of years a lot more as we've kind of built up, and we've got more in-person events, and COVID has somewhat subsided, touch woods.
Yep. Can actually put faces to faces rather than on Teams. Which
exactly.
Is,
But no one MSP does everything, and everyone has a specialism. And I think building a network and a partner base and introducing partners to other partners. And I think Microsoft recently coined the term co-opetition. Is the new play, and it's why wouldn't you go to someone in your network and drive business through them than a complete randomer that you've never worked with, where there are obvious risks.
Trust factor.
Exactly. So I think for me that's been a really, really big thing, and it's not something I think legacy providers were all that interested in, or even knew that there was a demand or a need or a desire for that.
I think legacy providers, with the ones that I've worked with, I think they liked MSPs to be competitive, not against each other, to be against each other, not
working with each other.
Not to be working with each other.
Yeah.
Thinking back to some of them that I've used, it was as though that worked better for them. It allowed them to sell more product. It allowed them, do you know what I mean? Rather than...
I hate to say divide and conquer, but...
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, it's a little bit sinister, but...
Yeah, exactly so. And that does work. You touched on it there. You have introduced us to a Pax8 partner who does something that we don't do. I've been introduced to a couple now where... One, we do something they don't do.
Sure.
And actually we're in negotiations to do that bit of their business for them, through them, so they can add that string to their bow and makes their offering a bit more rounded. Yeah. And it's the same. I've got one now. One of the Pax8 partners is going to be working with us. They're based in Scotland, but they're going to be working with us doing something they don't need to be here in person to do, but which we have been farming out to a very large corporate. And the problem with working with very large corporates is they're a pain in the ass to get anything done. There's too much red tape to do stuff. There's slow. Too much. It's such a slow burn. Whereas I can work with another MSP partner who is a bit bigger than us, but actually they understand what needs to be done. And it's like, yep, we want to do this. We want to do this. Perfect. You'll make money here. We'll make money here. Yeah. Done.
Respect
Everybody's
the rules.
happy. Client gets the product that they require in a timely fashion. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win.
No, exactly. And like we're kind of spearheading this again in our Launchpad program that Pax8 have launched, right? And that's very much in the dynamics space, which is an area, a lot of the MSPs we work with all do 365.
Yep.
Some of them touch on Azure. Some of the things that we've discussed previously earlier on today around adoption is somewhat slow in that space because it's usage-based. You can't control how much or know how much.
And the Microsoft estimation calculator is terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's some alternatives that are a little bit easier to use. But all that being said, the MSPs that we work with, a very small fraction work in the dynamic space. And it's a really specialized area. And it's what I've come to realize is a lot of the MSP partners that we work with, they, if ever dynamics opportunity were to arise, they may not even see a dynamics opportunity. So, for instance, Sage, line 50, 0, you might have a business that has now got a second site, a third site. They need the systems to speak together. Yep. They may just be at a size that they've outgrown those systems and they need something else to come in. And Business Central can do that. And I've spoken to a lot of my partners that, again, their sales team didn't even recognize that there was potentially an opportunity for them. Wow. Pax8, through the acquisition of Bamboo Cloud, we now service that third cloud. 1 to 20 user systems. We have pre-built systems in place that essentially we can provide a lot more affordable rate. But when maybe it's in the manufacturing industry that there are added complexities, our packages won't support that optimally.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's above 20 users is required. You're going to need a specialist Dynamics house to build that. So we now have a Launchpad program whereby you can come to us and you are reassured that we will introduce that customer to a Dynamics orientated MSP, but they will do the project work. They'll offer the support, but all the licensing still retains through you.
Amazing.
So that way, everybody wins.
Adds an extra string to the bow of the MSP, because if you don't have the in-house talent, and actually it's an expensive in-house talent to hold and keep, especially if you're not doing a lot of it. If you're not doing tons of it, then it becomes more expensive to have that in-house talent.
Exactly.
That's cool. That I can see that working quite a lot. I can actually see that working for us, because that's really good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I like it. Advice to SMBs.
Sure. I think the big thing is to look at IT as an investment. And
conversation I have so much.
And not a burden, right? Picking the right IT provider that gives you confidence as a business and makes you feel at ease, allows you to crack on with what you are successful at is key. Partners that talk about vulnerability scanning, partners that are talking about AI and automation, that are taking security seriously, even if you're not ready to jump on that bandwagon, on that train quite yet. And it's a difficult conversation to have with people, because I hear a lot of, oh, we're not quite ready to look at that yet. And that's all well and good. But my opinion is that if you do not adapt, you will not thrive. And with AI especially, if your competitor down the road learns how to fully leverage AI and they become 30-40% year on year more efficient than you do, it is only a matter of time before they start taking your customers.
100%.
So it's a bit ironic that people say they don't have the time to necessarily look at it, because you need to make the time for this kind of thing. So I think if you can find an IT provider, an MSP, that is talking about AI, automation, takes security seriously, you go through some vulnerability scanning, you look at where your vulnerabilities are in your business, you hit them head on, you look at improving your security posture, getting more people utilizing MFA over a 3 to 6, 9 month period. Even if you're not ready to kind of jump on that journey quite yet, and start looking at it long term, knowing that you have a partner that is able to get you up to speed quickly when the time is right, maybe when budgets come around and you can get the approvals, because we all know how business works. I think that is key. And I think that's the best recommendation or advice that I would give to a small, medium business.
I think it's a key factor there is that small business, even small, like very small businesses, set out budgets for what their office running costs are going to be. They set out budgets for their outsourced HR or their outsourced accounting. They set out budgets for their marketing. They don't set budgets for what they're going to spend on their IT.
Well, I guess up until now, you see it as a necessary cost.
Yeah.
But when you've got something like Copilot that can save you 10 to 15 hours a month, and that can give you more time to go and start adding some more value add to the business and taking care of mundane tasks that no one enjoys doing, I think now you need to see it as an investment, and it's going to give you more of a return that you can actually see.
You guys are all using Copilot in
every single
now,
one
right?
of us at Paxate.
Have you found that it's saved you time and it's improved?
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I completely recognize that it's going to save some people far more time than others.
Yeah.
And actually, the best way to start utilizing Copilot for M365 is to have an internal champion, heads of areas, managers, people that need to organize, make spreadsheets, PowerPoints, that kind of thing. They're going to see the biggest gains in terms of efficiency and time back. And then they can pick and choose who they think, based on their role, behaviors, is going to benefit most from Copilot. We all use it. It's phenomenal. It's ever changing. It's getting better. And I would, highly recommend digging in now, getting a really good understanding for what it is, because what it is today is not what it will be tomorrow. And
it's not what it was yesterday.
And it's not what it was yesterday either. So getting an understanding for where it's going is key. And I think it would change the way your brain works. Because instead of having to put that spreadsheet together. Now you've just got to collect the data, press a button, and the spreadsheet is created. And then you have a template. So now you never have to ask it to do that ever again because you already have that template. And all of a sudden, your brain's going to start thinking faster. You're going to start thinking more bigger picture. And all those mundane tasks and true ups that you had to do previously are a thing of the past.
In Excel, just being able to talk to it about the data set and actually in normal language. Well, I need to know this, and I want to know
verbally.
this, and blah, 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 blah. And it goes, oh, yeah, okay, here you go. And it's like, whereas I love and hate Excel. I say this a lot. I love and hate
A necessary
Microsoft.
evil.
It's a necessary evil for all different reasons. But Excel, I love and hate it because like it's good. It's a good product, but it can be a pain in the ass to work with and get and
how to best use it, right?
Yeah, and when I get massive Excel sheets full of data, I'm like,
how am I supposed to interpret this?
Okay, so how am I cross doing this? How am I doing that? How am I doing this? That I can just naturally speak to it and go, I want to know this about this data set, and I'm trying to look for kind of this and this. And it goes, how would you like that? Would you like it like this? Would you like it like that? Would you like it like this? And it's like, at first, when I started using it, I must admit, I was a little bit, is that true? Because we all know AI has hallucination issues. And it's like, is it true? What you've just given me back, is that actually what's in the data set? And I've had to go and do some investigation and have a look and just make sure. Yeah. But actually just talking to it normally.
And kind of looping back to what we said earlier, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
This is a crazy thing I've seen people started using Copilot for. And in Excel, ask Copilot, based on this data set, what are the kind of questions I could ask you?
Oh,
yeah.
That's
so take it
nice.
back. Ask Copilot what it thinks you should be asking based on the data set that you present in front of it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Really, really clever.
I learned one yesterday, which I did this morning, which kind of scared me a little bit. So you use ChatGPT, right? Or you have used ChatGPT?
Yeah, in a personal capacity.
Yeah, in a personal capacity. We're talking personal capacity, not business. You ask ChatGPT, what do you know about me? In these words, what do you know about me?
Already I'm getting
that I
shivers down
don't
my
know
spine.
about myself. That hold on, I've got to give you the exact one, because when I did it,
I don't really know if I want to know this.
I read through when I read through what it said. So your words are, what do you know about me that I might not know about myself based on our previous interactions?
Right.
When I tell you, when I read it, I was like, what the fuck? Because it was like, it's stuff. So I know now that ChatGPT has built-in memory now, right?
Yep.
That you can switch built-in memory on. But it's pulled back stuff from before there was built-in memory. And it is basically, I'll let you read it after we're off air. It basically does a synopsis of who the hell you are and what drives you. It's scary.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah, really powerful, but insightful at the same time. So yes, I was scared and I read it and I was like, I don't like it if an AI knows that about me right now when you're not super intelligent. You know that shit about me when you are super intelligent.
Yeah. Well, this is it, right? Like we've followed both the red and the blue pill now. It's happening. Yeah. We can't ignore it.
Train's left the station.
It's dangerous. The best thing you can, well, I say it's dangerous. It could be used for bad purposes.
Good and bad. Yep.
Good and bad. Best thing you can do is learn how to best leverage it now. Use it to your advantage.
100%.
Yeah, that is a key piece of advice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And on that note, Jack, thank you very much for coming in. And we hope the rest of the PAX 8 event is going to go as awesome as this one did.
Me too.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.